Hello everyone, welcome back. So there is a lot of confusion among many aspirants that which NCERTs should I read. So in this present series, I'm talking about ancient history, medieval history, and art and culture. So for ancient history, there is new NCERT, then there is old NCERT. So which is to read? Like old NCERT is very good in natural order. The arrangement of chapters are very good and it covers very comprehensively the content. Amount of the content in old NCERT is very high and it covers so much of art and culture portion also. On the other hand, new NCERT is having very limited content. It is especially rationalized after COVID and the content in new NCERT is very less. Okay, but it is the trending book. So obviously government sources will give reference to new NCERTs. Okay, so questions are coming from both new NCERT and also from old NCERT. Okay, so if you see, almost all of the questions are coming from these three sources for ancient and medieval India and most part of art and culture also. Okay, you can say the most reliable sources for ancient, medieval, and art and culture are one is old NCERTs. For ancient India, it is R. Sharma. This is the book. And for again, for ancient India, this is new NCERT of the official NCERT. Then there is a book written by Upinder Singh. So her book was very detailed. It is very book. It is very big book. It is very difficult to complete. Okay, here we are not seeing the Upinder Singh, but what you can do, important chapters like Mauryas, Guptas, Indus Valley Civilization, these important chapters, Buddhism, Jainism, these portions you can read from the Upinder Singh book. And for all the normal chronological order of our history and some parts of art and culture, you can read both of these NCERTs. So many aspirants think like which NCERT should I choose? Why not read one? Why waste so much time on taking a decision when a fast reading of NCERT can be done within 1 or 2 days? Okay, so don't waste too much time and don't leave anything to the luck. Okay, so in this we are doing an experiment where we will read both ancient history, ancient old NCERT of R. S. Sharma for ancient India, and also the new NCERT in the order. Like, see, this starts with importance of ancient history. This is not relevant for the exam. Again, this construction of ancient history, this is also not relevant for the exam. So the actual content for the exam starts from this geographical setting. There were questions directly from this chapter in our previous year papers. So we will start from the geographical setting, then we will read a bit about the Stone Age, so which takes us to the prehistoric eras, okay, stone copper phase, then coming to the Harappan civilization. So Harappan civilization is where our new NCERT is starting. Okay, you can see here. So this new NCERT is not covering what happened before Harappan civilization. So these topics we will cover from new NCERTs. When we come to Harappan civilization, we will read this old NCERT and also the new NCERT. Okay, we will give a very fast reading of both. In this way, we will cover both the NCERTs and we are ready for both prelims and mains. Okay. If I then provide any notes, I will provide in the description. So let us focus on the reading of the class. So what I will be doing, I will be doing a continuous reading. So let us start from this third chapter, geographical setting, because these first two chapters are not relevant for the exam. Okay. So I'm directly going to the 10th course. So without wasting any time, I'm starting. So we are talking about geographical setting of India, how this geography has determined our history. So the history of India cannot be understood without some knowledge of its geography. The Indian subcontinent is as large in area as Europe without Russia. Its total area is 42,02,500 square kilometers. The subcontinent is divided into 3 countries, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. India has 65 crore people. This is old NCERT. Pakistan 50 crore. Bangladesh 7.5 crore. Okay, so India comprises 22 states and 9 union territories. Now our population is 145 crore and states are 28 states and 8 union territories. Some of the states are larger than many European countries. For instance, Bihar is large in area as England and Madhya Pradesh is larger than several European countries. The Indian subcontinent is a well-defined geographical unit, mostly situated in the tropical zone. It is bounded by the Himalayas on the north and seas on the 3 other sides. The Himalayas protect the country against the cold Arctic winds blowing from the Siberia to Central Asia. This keeps the climate of the northern India fairly warm throughout the year. Since the cold is not so severe in the plains, people do not need heavy clothing and can live in open for the longer periods. Secondly, the Himalayas are high enough to shield the country against invasions from the north. This was specifically true in the pre-industrial times when communications were very difficult. However, on the northwest Suleiman mountain ranges, which are in the southward continuation with the Himalayas, could be crossed through Khyber and Gomal passes. See here they are mentioning 2 passes. So you can see Suleiman mountains are on the northwest part of Indian subcontinent and the extension is Himalayas, southward extension is Himalayas, and here in this region, Suleiman mountains etc. in the northwest region of Indian subcontinent, 2 passes were mentioned. One is Khyber Pass and the one is Gomal Pass. Okay. The Suleiman ranges are joined southward in Balochistan by the Kirtar range. Okay, Kirtar ranges. So Suleiman mountains, Khyber and Gomal Pass, and Balochistan and Kirtar ranges, which would be crossed through Bolan Pass. So here you will also have Bolan Pass. You see many passes are being mentioned and all of these are in northwest direction. Through these passes, two-way traffic between India and Central Asia has been going on from east to west. So here it is Central Asia, here it is India. So through these passes, now we are having the movement. Various people from Iran, Afghanistan, Soviet, Central Asia came to India as invaders and immigrants and vice versa. Even the Hindu Kush, the westward extension of the Himalayan system, did not form an insuperable barrier between the Indus system and the Oxus system. This means for these rivers, these Hindu Kush mountains, which are an extension, westward extension of the Himalayan system, they also did not stop these rivers. These rivers are flowing in between these mountain systems. The passes facilitated trade and cultural contacts between India on one hand. The passes facilitated trade and cultural contacts between India on the one hand and Central Asia and West Asia on the other. Nestled in the Himalayas are the valleys of Kashmir and Nepal, surrounded on all sides by high mountains. The valley of Kashmir developed its own way of life. So, valley of Kashmir is surrounded by high mountains on all sides, but it could be reached through several passes. Its winter compelled some of its people to go to the plains, and its summer attracted the shepherds of the plains. Economic and cultural interaction between the plains and the valley was continuous. The Pamir Plateau did not prevent it from becoming a transmitting center of Buddhism for the adjacent areas of Central Asia. So Pamir Plateau again somewhat more higher in the northeast direction, more further in the northeast direction. So this Pamir Plateau, which is around this Central Asia region, there also our Buddhism has transmitted. The valley of Nepal, smaller in size, is accessible to the people of the Gangetic plains through a number of passes. The valley of Nepal, smaller in size, is accessible to the people of Gangetic plains through a number of passes. Like Kashmir, it also became a center for cultivation of Sanskrit. Both the valleys became the repositories of the largest number of Sanskrit manuscripts. So both the valleys became Kashmir and Nepal Valley. So they are talking about how this geography, like see here, this is Hindu Kush mountain, here it is the Kashmir valley, here it is the Nepal valley. So you can see here Hindu Kush mountains, okay, Khyber mountains, okay, Khyber, Suleiman, Hindu Kush mountain, Hindu Raj mountains. Here we have in the Himalayas direction, okay. See here Indus river systems, the passes they are talking is in this direction. Khyber, Bolan, Bolan Pass, Gomal Pass, etc. The foothills of Himalayas lent themselves to easier clearance than the jungles on the alluvial soils on the plain. It was easy to cross rivers in these areas because of their smaller bed. So here it is saying that these foothills of the Himalayas, are very easy to occupy for the earlier people than this thick forest of this central India, etc. It was easy to cross rivers in the areas because of the small rivers easy to cross, and hence the earliest routes stinted along the foothills of the Himalayas from the west to east and vice versa. Naturally, the earliest agriculture settlements and the states were found in the foothills in the 6th century BC. So the earliest agriculture settlements and states were founded in the foothills of the 6th century BC. So see, around the 6th century BC, we will see. So these are the Himalayas. These are the foothills of the Himalayas. Okay, these are the foothills Himalayas. So people started settling in this region. Before this 6th century BC, people were like living in these regions. So from this northwest region, now people started settling along these foothills of the mountains. So you will see bigger kingdoms like Magadha kingdom in Bihar in this region by 6th century. That is what it is talking about. So it was the heart of the historical India is formed by its important rivers, which are swollen by the tropical monsoon rains. These consist of the plains of the Indus in the northwest. So the rivers are the heart of the historical India. Rivers are very important, especially in ancient times. And what are these rivers which are very important to India? Indus in the northwest, Ganga, Yamuna, Doab in the middle Gangetic basin in the east, Brahmaputra basin in the extreme east. So, Indus river basin, this is the Indus river basin. This is the Ganga, Yamuna, Doab. Okay, so you will see here, this is Ganga river, this is Yamuna river, okay, this is Yamuna river. The Indus river system. This is the Ganga Yamuna Doab. This is the eastern Ganga part, and this is the Brahmaputra in the extreme east. You see here Brahmaputra river coming in this way and going into the Bangladesh. Ganga coming through this and going into the Bangladesh. Okay, so this is what they are talking about. As we proceed from the plains of the Indus system through the Gangetic basin to the Brahmaputra basin, we find the annual rainfall gradually increasing from 25 centimeters to over 250 centimeters. So, if you go in this direction, so here rainfall starts like 25 centimeter. As you go this way, here rainfall reaches around 250 centimeters. Rainfall keeps on increasing. The Indus vegetation based on 25 to 37 centimeter rainfall and possibly the western Gangetic vegetation based on 37 to 60 centimeter rainfall could be cleared with stone and proper implements and made fit for cultivation. But this was not possible in the case of middle Gangetic vegetation based on 60 to 120 centimeter rainfall, and certainly not in the case of lower Gangetic and Brahmaputra vegetation based on 125 to 250 centimeter rainfall. The thickly forested areas which also contain hard soil could be cleared only with the help of iron implements, which appeared at much later stage. Therefore, the natural resources of the western area were utilized first, and large scale human settlement generally spread from west to east. So see what they're talking about. So they are saying here, because rainfall is less, the forests and trees in this area are easy to clear. So they were cleared. Now here the rainfall is medium, somewhat high than the western region. So here the forest areas, trees, etc. not easy to clear. Here it is very, very difficult. So people started populating historically first this region. Resources in these regions were exploited first because it is easy to clear this region and settle. This region is somewhat difficult and this region is extremely difficult. So this region got cleared and people started settling here only after discovering a most difficult metal called iron. So before iron, using other metals like copper, etc., these regions were cleared. But this thick forested region needed iron to populate. Okay. Once brought under cultivation, the Indus Gangetic Plains produced rich crops. So from the western of Indus to Gangetic Plains produced rich crops and supported successive cultures. The Indus and Western Gangetic Plains mainly produced wheat and barley. The Indus and the Western Gangetic Plains mainly produced wheat and barley. So see here in this region they have produced wheat and the barley in the Western and in the Indus and Western Gangetic parts. While the middle and lower Gangetic Plains mainly produced rice, which also became the staple diet in Gujarat and south of the Vindhyas. So here they have produced wheat and barley. Here they have produced rice, which has spread to this Gujarat and also to the southern part. Okay, so rice has become the staple diet. Here there is Vindhyas. So south of the Vindhyas also rice has become the main staple diet. The Harappan culture originated and flourished in the Indus Valley. The Vedic culture originated in the Punjab and flourished in the Western Gangetic Basin. And the post-Vedic culture, mainly based on the use of the iron, thrived in the Middle Gangetic Basin. The Lower Gangetic Valley and the North Bengal first came in limelight in the age of the Guptas. And finally, the Brahmaputra Valley covering some great importance in the early medieval times. So see here a very clear link between timelines and geography was established. See, you will see Indus Valley civilization in this region, also called Harappan civilization, around 1500 BC in this time. Then we have this Vedic period from around 15,000 BC to 600 BC, and Vedic period developed here. Vedic civilization developed here. Then you have Mahajanpadas, etc., many kingdoms in this Gangetic plain, lower Gangetic plain, 600 BC, which is post-Vedic period. So, and this Bengal region, this became famous. People started settling and this became famous only during the Guptas. That means 3rd century AD, 4th century AD, etc. Then the most eastern region, this Assam, etc., this got somewhat famous only in the early medieval period. That means around 7th, 8th, 9th centuries. Okay, so there is a clear timeline of how people started moving from west to east, how India started developing from west to east. Important powers fought for the possession of these plains and valleys, especially the Ganga Yamuna Dowa, proved to be most coveted and contested area. The rivers served as arteries of commerce and communication. So rivers are being used for commerce, business purposes, and communication to exchange information. in ancient times, it was difficult to make roads, and so men and material were moved by boat. The river routes therefore helped military and commercial transport. Evidently, the stone pillars made by Ashoka were carried to different parts of the country by boat. So you see here, so it was not easy to make roads in the ancient times. So they used these rivers, Ganga River, Yamuna River, and so these are like most important regions. They are most contested. Everyone wants those access to rivers. And these famous stone pillars made by Ashoka, we will see. So around this 3rd century, 4th century BC, now Mauryan kings came in this Magadha kingdom, and they were the first pan-Indian large kingdoms. So among these Mauryan kings, Ashoka was famous. Ashoka has installed stone pillars across the country. So how these stone pillars were exchanged to different parts, carried to different parts through rivers by boats. Okay? The importance of rivers for communication continued till days of the East India Company. So these using rivers continued till Britishers came to India. Further, the rivers inundated the neighboring areas and made them fertile. So because of the rivers, the areas surrounding the rivers became very fertile. They also supplied water to the canals cut from them. However, they caused heavy floods which periodically destroyed towns and villages in the northern plains. And so many ancient buildings have been washed away beyond recovery. Nevertheless, important towns and capitals such as, see, for UPSC, sites are very important. Okay? Sites and places and personalities are very important. So focus on this. Some important towns and capitals: Hastinapura, Prayag, Varanasi, Patliputra were situated on the banks of the rivers. Okay, like Yamuna River, Ganga River, etc. Okay, so Hastinapura, like Yamuna River, Delhi area, Prayag, Varanasi in UP, in Ganga River, Pataliputra, okay, near to modern Patna. So again in along the Ganga River. So others were situated on the banks of the rivers. In modern times, urban sites are selected on the railway and road junctions or in the industrial or mining zones. But in the pre-industrial times, towns were mostly situated on the river banks. So if you see what is towns or what are urban areas right now, we will decide based on the railway and road facilities, industrial development, etc. But in ancient times, those areas which are adjacent to the rivers, they were seen as urban areas. Above all, the rivers provided political and cultural boundaries. These were also formed by mountain barriers. Above all, the rivers provided political and cultural boundaries. So the rivers provided political and cultural boundaries, means like between two kingdoms, river used to form the border, because rivers are somewhat difficult to go through. So they are like natural borders between different kingdoms, different cultural regions, different linguistic regions, etc. These are also formed by mountain barriers. So mountains also served as the boundaries between the kingdoms and cultural regions. Thus, in the eastern part of the Indian peninsula, the area known as Kalinga, covering the coastal belt of Odisha, was situated between the Mahanadi on the north and the Godavari on the south. Similarly, Andhra Pradesh mostly lay between the Godavari on the north and the Krishna on the south. The deltaic plains formed by these two rivers at their mouths shot into historical importance by the beginning of the Christian era, when they became studded with towns and ports under the Satavahanas and their successors. So let me first tell you this. So how these rivers played very important boundaries between states. Like, see, what you are calling modern day Odisha right now, historically it was called Kalinga. That region was called Kalinga. How that Kalinga region came to picture? So there is this Mahanadi river, and then there is this Godavari river. So this served as a natural border for this Kalinga region. Then Andhra Pradesh, Godavari river in the north and this Krishna river in the south. So these formed like natural borders between different cultural regions. So these people spoke in different languages. They are different kingdom. these people speaking different languages, they are becoming different kingdoms. Okay? And now they are saying during the time of Christian era. What is Christian era? So there is no hard date, but it is generally believed that Jesus Christ born in first AD. So the most accepted moment of birth of Jesus Christ is seen as like starting of the time. So from that moment we start counting time forward. Before the time we count backward, like BC. So from first AD, it is roughly the Christian era. So around this Christian era, so this Godavari river and this Krishna river, they started becoming famous. Okay. So here you can see they have given the rainfall. So the thicker the line, the most dense the rainfall is. You can see here, rainfall is very, very big. Here it is somewhat dense. When you go eastern, it is more dense. Okay? So plains formed by both Godavari and Krishna, they become very much important around this Christian era, when they became started with the towns and ports under the Satavahanas. So these Satavahanas, who used to rule this central and southern region around this 2nd century BC to 2nd and 3rd century AD. For around this turn of the millennium, around this first AD, they have developed many towns and ports around the deltas of the Krishna and Godavari. Finally, Tamil Nadu was situated between the Krishna and the north and the Kaveri and the south. So in the similar way, between Krishna river and Kaveri river, Tamil Nadu region was developed. The Kaveri delta extended in the south roughly to the Vaigai river, and in the north to the south Pennar river. Okay, so Kaveri delta extended in the south roughly to the Vaigai river and in the north to the Pennar river. Okay, so like you see, so this is the Krishna river and this is the Kaveri river roughly. So now this became the Tamil Nadu region. This is becoming Tamil Nadu region. The delta of the Kaveri river, in the south it spread up to this Vaigai river, and in the north it is up to the Pennar river. Okay, so there is a Pennar river here, Pennar river. So the delta of Kaveri has spread. Okay, here the deltas are very much important. Godavari delta. This Kaveri delta formed a distinct geographical zone and became the seat of the Chola power a little before the beginning of the Christian era. So just in the 1st century BC, around now, Cholas were ruling this region. This area was different from the North Tamil Nadu, which consisted of uplands and came into prominence under the Pallavas in the 4th, 6th century series. Okay, 4th, 6th centuries AD. So Pallavas used to rule the northern part of Tamil Nadu and southern part of present Andhra Pradesh. And the southern part of Tamil Nadu was ruled by these early Cholas. Okay, Cholas were, if you see the Cholas, they were in 2 different periods. Around this 1st century BC, 1st century AD, there were Cholas in this Tamil region. They are called early Cholas. Now again, you will see the rise of the Cholas around this 9th century AD, 10th century AD, 11th century AD. So this is early medieval Cholas and early Cholas. Okay, early Cholas, later Cholas. Eastern part of the peninsula is bounded by the Coromandel coast. Although the coastline is flanked by the eastern Ghats or the steppes, the Ghats are not very high and have several openings caused by the eastward flow of the rivers into the Bay of the Bengal. Thus, communication between the eastern coast on the one hand and other parts of the Andhra and Tamil Nadu on the other one was not difficult in ancient times. The port cities of Arikamedu, Mahabalipuram, Kaveripatnam were situated on the Coromandel coast. So if you see, so there are many rivers. They are saying, first of all, many rivers are like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, rivers are coming. There are eastern Ghats here. You see, there are western Ghats here, but they are very continuous. They are very continuous, very few passages. It is very few passages. But the eastern Ghats are not like that because rivers are continuously coming, so many rivers. There are many passages between these eastern Ghats. So the communication is not difficult between the coastal areas and the rest of the India. And this coastal region is also called Coromandel Coast. Okay, this coastal region is called Coromandel Coast on the eastern side of the peninsula. Here we are having some coastal areas like here you will see this Kaveri Pattanam in somewhere in this region. Okay, somewhere in this region you will see Kaveri Pattanam. Then you will see this. This is a certain question. Again, around this region only. So this you can say like this. You can say like Kavaripatnam, around this Pondicherry, present day Pondicherry region, you have this Arikamedu port. Then there is Mahabalipuram. So again, Mahabalipuram is around Chennai. So Mahabalipuram is again in this region. So in this region, in this Coromandel coast, we are seeing many ports like Mahabalipuram, Arikamedu, and this Kavaripatnam, etc. In the western part of the peninsula, we do not have such a distinct regional units, but we can locate Maharashtra between Tapati River and Tapati River also called Daman Ganga. Tapati on the north and Bhima on the south. The arca covered by Karnataka seems to have been situated between Bhima and the upper regions of the Krishna on the north and Tungabhadra on the south. For a long time, the Tungabhadra provided a natural, here the text is not visible, powers lying to the Chalukyas found it difficult to extend their way to the south of the Tungabhadra. So also the Pallavas and Cholas found it extremely difficult to extend their authority to its north. It's not. So see, basically, let me tell you, even the text is not visible. I understood what there is. Okay? So there is Tapati River, roughly in this region. So Maharashtra developed between this Tapati River and this Bhima River. Between this Bhima River and this Krishna and Tungabhadra. Now this became around this Tungabhadra. Okay, modern day Karnataka. So here you have Pallavas, here you have Cholas. So the kingdoms in this region, like Chalukyas, they could not pass to the south. They could not extend to the south. Okay, this Godavari, this Krishna river, and these kings could not extend to these regions by crossing these rivers. Okay? So rivers form natural boundaries. That is what it is saying. So the coastal area in extreme southwest of the peninsula was covered by the modern state Kerala. This seacoast along the western part of the peninsula is called the Malabar coast. Although the coast came to have several ports and smaller kingdoms, communication between this coast and the adjoining areas of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Kerala was rendered difficult by the high western Ghats, which do not have too many passes. So, this we said Coromandel coast. Now, this coast is called Malabar coast. So, but the communication in this region is not so easy. It is very difficult because here we have these Western Ghats, and unlike Eastern Ghats, which are being penetrated by rivers and having gaps in between, Western Ghats are not having any gaps in between. Very rare few passes only exist. So that is why the communication in this region is very difficult. In between the Indus and the Gangetic systems in the north and Vindhya mountains on the south lies the vast stretch of land which is divided into two units by the Aravalli mountains. The area west of the Aravalli is covered by the Thar desert, although a part of the Rajasthan also lies in the region. The vast expanse of the desert made human settlements impossible in ancient times. However, a few fertile oases scattered in the desert were settled, and from early times it has been possible to cross the desert by means of the camels. The southeastern portion of the Rajasthan has been comparatively fertile area since ancient times, and because of the existence of the Khetri copper mines in this region, human settlements arose in this area in the Chalcolithic period. So you see, this is what they are saying. So now this Indus Ganga region and this Vindhya mountains. You see here there is this vast region in between it. Vast region in between these two. Now here you have Aravalli mountains, which broadly divided this region into two. On the west side you have this desert. Okay, you have desert. Okay, so some part of Gujarat and some part of Rajasthan, and the southeastern part of Rajasthan is kind of fertile. Here we have somewhat some rivers like Chambal river, etc. Southeastern part of Rajasthan is somewhat fertile, but this desert is very difficult to occupy for the historical ancient people. However, here they have found something called copper mines, K3 copper mines. So because of these copper mines, now people found metal which is very useful. We have already seen they have used copper metals to remove frost in this region. So when they found metal, so during this Chalcolithic period in India's history, we will see what is Chalcolithic period. Okay, it is before this Indus Valley civilization period, around 3000, 4000 BC. So during that time period, people started settling in this K3 copper mines region. Okay? So Rajasthan shades off into the fertile plains of Gujarat, which are drained by the waters of Narmada, Tapati, and Mahi and Sabarmati river. Situated at the end of the northwestern portion of the Deccan Plateau, Gujarat includes less rainy region of Kathiawar Peninsula, and coastal area of the state is fairly indented, allowing the existence of several harbors. Therefore, from ancient times, Gujarat has been famous for its coastal and foreign trades, and its people have proved to be enterprising traders. So, if you see, they are talking about Gujarat, which is this is the Deccan Plateau. So, in the northwest region of Deccan Plateau, we have this Gujarat region. So, this is the Kathiawar Peninsula. This is the Kathiawar Peninsula they are talking about. And they are also saying the coastal area of Gujarat is very indented. It is not a straight line, it is very sharp. This is called indented. That means some area of land is protruding into the sea and some sea water is coming into the land. When land is protruded like this, it is very easy to have port towns, to have harbors, because now the water is limited here. If the land is continuous, like this around the coastal area, all of this is water, not easy to have a coast because it will be severely affected by winds, etc., winds and storms. But because land is indented, now it is protected by storms and winds, etc. The port in here is protected by this, the surrounding mountains and surrounding land. Okay, so indented land is very useful for having ports. Europe is having many important ports because its land is indented. Okay, so you will see this Gujarat region having good ports and towns. So many traders, many trading communities have developed in this region historically. Again, the rivers here, the rivers are also mentioned like this Tapati river and this Narmada river, Sabarmati river, etc. They are mentioned which are in this region. So you can see they are talking about the whole India. They are started like northwest direction, northern India, eastern India, southern India. Okay, southern India, eastern southern India, western southern India. Then they are moving to Gujarat. So they are covering all areas one by one. How each area developed and how each area got the shape it is in today's times. It is being explained using the geography, using the rivers, using the minerals, using the mountains, mountain passes, okay, mountains like Himalayas, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, rivers Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Penna, Narmada, Tapati, Bhima river, etc. And how the coast of the Gujarat is indented and traders have developed there, etc. Okay. South of the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So south of the Ganga Yamuna Doab means present day Madhya Pradesh region. Bounded by the Chambal river on the west, Son river on the east, the Vindhya mountains and the Narmada river on the south lies the state of the Madhya Pradesh. Its northern part consists of fertile plains. At present, Madhya Pradesh is the largest state in the country. So this is old NCERT, its data is old. Now the largest state in India is Rajasthan because Madhya Pradesh now in the year of 2000, this was before 2000. So the state of Madhya Pradesh is broken into two, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So effectively now the largest state in India is Rajasthan. So here they are talking about including Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh combined with the Madhya Pradesh they are talking about. So you can see here this is the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So south of the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So see here this Chambal in the eastern part of the Rajasthan state. That's why the eastern part of Rajasthan is also fertile. So Chambal and here you have Son. So between this Chambal and Son, here we have the Vindhya mountains. So in between this, we have the state of the Madhya Pradesh. Okay. The eastern part, mostly covered by the Vindhyas, did not become important historically till Gupta times in the 4th and 5th centuries AD. But western Madhya Pradesh includes Malwa, which has been the scene of the historical activities. 6th century BC onwards, Malwa served as an important hinterland for the Gujarat ports, and many wars were fought between the Deccan and the northern powers for the possession of the Malwa and the Gujarat. The Sakas and the Satavahanas fought for the possession of the key area in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. And the Marathas and the Rajputs in the 18th century. So because this Gujarat is a trading town. Now this Gujarat became a trading town. So to this northeast of Gujarat, we have this Malwa region, which became the hinterland. So all the goods were brought here. Now this became very important area. So this Malwa region was like contesting point, flash point. So the Sakas in this region, Sakas used to rule this region and Satavahanas used to rule this region. Both wanted control over here. Okay. Again, in the 18th century, now Marathas are ruling this region. So Marathas and Rajputs, which are from this region, they are also controlling, they are also trying to control this Malwa. Each one of the areas bounded by the rivers and in some cases by mountains and sometimes identical with the deltas and plateaus. Each one of the areas bounded by the rivers and in some cases by the mountains and sometimes identical with the deltas and plateaus constituted a political and administrative unit in which different ruling dynasties rose and fell on account of difficult communications in a vast country and the defensibility of the natural frontiers. It was not easy for the ruling class of one region to establish the rule over all the other regions. In course of time, every region grew into a distinct cultural unit having its own style of life and language. But in northern and western India, most languages were derived from the same Indo-Aryan stock and hence held many elements in common. What is further important, almost all over the country, Sanskrit came to be cultivated and understood. So because of the different geographical realities, like not able to cross mountains and rivers, etc., having common type of economic activities, etc., people developed different in culturally and language-wise in different regions. Okay, but northwestern languages like Gujarati, etc., these languages more or like similar. Okay, and Sanskrit as a language started developing throughout India. Now it became an elite language of the rich people. Like now we see English as somewhat elite language. We assume that ordinary person cannot speak English. If you are speaking English means you are somewhat educated. So Sanskrit developed in the similar way in ancient times. So the Vindhya mountains cut right across the country from west to east and form the boundary between north and south. The speakers of the Dravidian language lived south of the Vindhyas and of the Aryan languages. North of it, in between, lived primitive people in the Vindhya regions where they are still found. The coastal areas along the eastern and western Ghats. So, what they are saying? So now they are talking about this Vindhya mountains. Okay, these Vindhya mountains effectively like it forming a boundary between western and eastern India and also the northern and southern India. So here they are talking Indo-Aryan languages. Here they are talking Dravidian languages. Okay. So the languages developed in this region called Dravidian languages. The languages developed in this region are called Indo-Aryan languages. So in between these Dravidian and Aryan regions, we have many tribals living in this region. Okay, he is calling primitive people in this tribal people living in this central region around Vindhyas. Okay, so this region of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh dominated by tribals even today. The coastal areas along the eastern and western Ghats attracted sellers and traders. And the south carried a flourishing foreign trade because this southern peninsula had access to the ocean. Now southern part is developing foreign trade. Vindhyas do not constitute unsurmountable barriers. In ancient times, in spite of the difficulties of the communication, people moved from north to south and vice versa. So these Vindhya mountains in the center, they did not stop people from communicating. It can be passed easily. So people started communicating between north and south. This led to a give and take culture and language. So culture started spreading from north to south. The language started spreading. Exchanges, giving and taking, spread between north and south. Again and again, the northern powers moved down to the south and the southern powers moved up to the north. So also did the traders, missionaries and the cultural leaders, particularly the Brahmins. So Brahmanism spread between north and south, the missionaries, Christian missionaries spread between north and south, traders moved between north and south, kings started moving between north and south, etc. The two-way traffic remained constant and helped the development of a composite culture. So what is the thing that is uniting entire India today? The culture. So we might have some differences between us, but if you see the larger culture, like wearing saris, origin of our languages, sounds of our languages, okay, our food habits, etc. So our languages, our clothing, our food habits, etc. So the composite culture we have is distinct from the other Western countries, etc. So this culture is the actual one, not a particular element, whether a single language or something else uniting India today. So it was developed over many years through mutual interaction between the north and south. Although most regions had well-defined natural frontiers, not every region possessed the resources necessary to keep life going. Therefore, from prehistoric times, the common need for metals and other resources had produced a network of interconnections between different regions of the country. The utilization of the natural resources of the country has an important bearing on its history. Until human settlements developed on a large scale, the Indian plains abound in thickly forested areas, which provided game and supplied forage, fuel, timber. In early times, when burnt bricks were not much in use, timber houses and palisades were constructed. They have been found in Patliputra, the first important capital of India. So they are saying natural resources played very key role in development of history. So plains usually used to have so much of forest, which used to give us fuel and timber, etc. Okay, forage for animals, fuel, timber, and etc. When we did not use this burnt bricks were more stable. Burnt bricks were more stable. So before burnt bricks were used for construction, people used this timber or wood for constructing houses, etc. You can see the same in this Patliputra, okay, the first important capital of India, for this Magadha region. For construction and tool making of all kinds of stones, including sandstone, are available in the country. So for construction and tool making, stones are available. The earliest human settlements are naturally found in India in the hilly areas and in those river valleys which are situated between the hills. In historical times, there were more temples and sculptures made of stone in the Deccan and South India than in the plains of the northern India. So in historical times, you will see more temples and sculptures made of stone in the Deccan and southern India than northern region. The country abound in copper mines. The richest copper mines are found in the Chotanagar Plateau, particularly in the district of Singhbhum. The copper belt is about 130 km long and shows many signs of ancient workings. The earliest people who used copper implements in Bihar exploited copper mines of Singhbhum and Hazaribagh, and many copper tools have been discovered in the South Bihar and parts of Madhya Pradesh. So see here. So we already told this in this Rajasthan, we have this K3 mines in this Rajasthan. So apart from this Rajasthan K3 mines, we have this is called Chota Nagpur Plateau region. Okay. So in this Singhbhum region of this, you can say present day Jharkhand. So in this Chota Nagpur Singhbhum region also we have this 130 km stretch of copper mines. So copper is very useful. So he is explaining how these resources drive our history. So rich copper deposits are also found in K3 mines in Rajasthan. They were tapped by both pre-Vedic and Vedic people. So there are proofs that historically people try to access minerals, metals from these regions. So tapped by both pre-Vedic and Vedic people who lived in Pakistan, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Ganga Yamuna Dover. Numerous copperous cells have been found in K3 zone, and they seem to belong to a period anterior to circa 1000 BC. So even before 1000 BC, there is evidence that people started using this copper, since copper was the first metal to be used. So you can see a prelims fact, which is the first metal to be used, copper. It is invested with great purity by the Hindus, and copper utensils are used in religious rituals. So it was the first metal. So it was the metal that was present along our cultural development. So for Hindus, copper became like a very important metal in their daily practices. So they use it in religious rituals also. The country today produces no tin. This was scarce even in ancient times. There is reason to believe that it was found in Rajasthan and Bihar, but its deposits have been used up. So there is another metal called tin. Previously in Rajasthan and Bihar, we believe that tin, there were mines of tin, but it is not that much rich mineral. I mean, it is very scarce, difficult to find, very less quantity available. It was used up in the ancient times. Today there is no tin. So if you mix copper and tin, you will get a better metal. So metals vary in properties. So bronze metal is better than copper. How you will get bronze? By mixing a small bit of tin with the copper. So since bronze can be made only by mixing tin with copper, we do not find many bronze objects in the prehistoric times. The Harappas possibly procured some tin from the Rajasthan, but their main supply came from the Afghanistan, and even this was limited. Hence, although the Harappan people used bronze tools, their number compared with those found in West Asia, Egypt and Crete is very small. Their tools carry a small percentage of tin. Therefore, India had no proper bronze age, and that is an age in which tools and implements were mostly made of bronze. So, our Harappan civilization, we see many bronze elements like dancing girl. Okay, there is a bronze bull, which we will see in later classes. So, we see some bronze utilization. So the world has gone through history of the world is seen as phases like copper phase, bronze phase, etc. Bronze age, copper age, etc. So when the age we call of the world, which we call bronze age, in this bronze age, compared to the West Asia, Egypt, etc., and this Crete means it is around the Greece. Okay, it is a Greek area. So in this region, when we see the bronze elements, the amount of tin is very high. Finding tin in these regions is possible, and tin mixing is possible. So we get a better quality bronze. But in India, from Rajasthan, very minor quantity of tin is available. Some quantity of tin can also get from Afghanistan. So these Harappan people used this limited availability of tin, and they have made some bronze metal elements, but it is not as rich as these other regions. So we do not have a true proper bronze age. Our tools are mostly made of copper. From early centuries of Christian era, that means 1st century, 2nd century AD, India developed intimate connections with Burma and the Malwa Peninsula, which possessed. So this Harappan civilization and this ancient period is around like 1500, 2000 BC to 600 BC, etc. When we got enough quantity of tin, it is only in the AD, okay, CE, okay. After this 1st century, 2nd century AD, now we started connections with Burma and Malay Peninsula, this Malaysia, Thailand countries, this Malay Peninsula, which possessed plenty of tin. This made possible the use of bronze on large scale, especially the statues of gods in South India. So tin for Bihar bronzes of Pala times was possibly obtained from the Gaya, Hazaribagh and Ranchi. Actually, in Hazaribagh, tin were smelted till the middle of the last century. So then in the medieval times, we got some more tin ores in these central Indian regions, Gaya, Hazaribagh, Ranchi. So here we got some tin ores. So you will also see some bronze elements in Bihar in the medieval times during Pala Kingdom. Pala Kingdom comes in medieval times. Okay, 8th and 9th century, etc. So India has been rich in iron ores, which are found particularly in South Bihar, eastern Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka, once the art of smelting using bellows and making steel was learned, iron could be used for war and more usefully for the clearance of jungles and for deep and regular cultivation. So we had a rich iron ores in this South Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka region. But it is the raw ore. When you started learning a technique called smelting, smelting means using some other elements called bellows to twist the metal into the desired shape. Now you can convert this iron into the shape you want. If you want to make a knife, you can make. Okay, if you want to make a chariot with it, you can make. So once we learn this smelting and making steel technique, okay, using some mixing some other metals to make it strong and making a strong metal called steel. Now it can be used to wage wars by making weapons. Okay, make better knife and clear jungles. Okay, for deep and regular cultivation, etc. Make sickles, etc. So the formation of first empire in Magadha in the 6th to 4th centuries BC owed much to the availability of the iron just south of this region. So when we found metal and we found the techniques to make it better into better shapes, etc., then big empires started forming in India because we can clear now more and more forest. The large scale use of iron made Avanti with its capital at Ujjain, an important kingdom in the south, in the 6th and 5th centuries. Okay, so see here so much of here they are saying. So iron is available here in the South Bihar, Eastern Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. So here there is metal available, so here Magadha Empire got developed. Here there is metal available, so here you will see Avanti kingdom with Ujjain as capital in the 5th and 6th century BC. The Satavahanas and other powers which arose south of the Vindhyas may have utilized the iron ores of Andhra and Karnataka. So iron ores of this region may given power to this Satavahanas of this region. Okay, so there is a clear linkage between minerals and the development of kingdom. So minerals are available based on geography. So it is the like mineral geography, economic geography. So this whole chapter we know is about the linkage between geography and history. How these geographical elements of rivers, mountains, ghats, deltas, minerals, forests, etc. are linked to development of various cultural, political regions and modern day India. Andhra possesses resources in lead and explains why large number of lead coins in the kingdom of Satavahanas. So Andhra is having high resources in lead. Satavahanas issued many lead coins who ruled over the Andhra and Maharashtra in the first 2 centuries of the Christian era. The earliest coins, called the punch marked coins, were largely made of silver, although this metal is rarely found in the country. So silver is a metal not found in India, but the earliest coins we found during the 6th century, 5th century BC is called punch marked coins. Okay. However, silver mines existed in early times in the Kharagpur hills in the district of Mongir, and they are mentioned in as late as the time of the Akbar. So in the eastern part of the Kharagpur, in Bengal region, etc., we have silver mines. It was mentioned in this some records of Akbar. Okay, this accounts for the use of the white metal in the earliest punch marked coins. So because metal also found in this region, so it may be used to make this punch marked coins in this Bihar region, the Magadha kingdom, etc. Gold is found in the polar goldfields of the Karnataka. Gold is found in the polar goldfields of the Karnataka. So KGF very famous. A very early trace of gold has been found at the New Stone Age site of around 800 BC in Karnataka. We have no indication of its exploitation till the beginning of the 2nd century AD. Kolar is considered to be the earliest capital of the Gangas of the South Karnataka. So in the Karnataka, you will see this southern part in Karnataka, you will see this polar goldfields. So here also some kingdoms developed called Ganga kingdom. Okay, and this gold we started to use around 2nd century AD. of the gold used in early times was obtained. So before discovery of this gold, much of the gold used in early times was obtained from Central Asia and the Roman Empire. Gold coins therefore came into regular use in the first 5 centuries of the Christian era. As the local resources were not sufficient to maintain the gold currency over a long spell of time, once the supply from outside stopped, gold coins became rare. In ancient times, India also produced a variety of precious stones. We are talking now about stones, including pearls, especially in central India, Orissa and South India. Precious stones formed an important item of the trade in articles, which are eagerly sought for by the Romans in early centuries of the Christian era. Okay, so now that concludes the first chapter. Okay, so next one is the Stone Age.